Hello, it's Jane. I'm back again. It's the beginning of October and I think we'll all agree, well those of us in the Northern Hemisphere at least, that it's the time of year where not only are our harvests more or less coming to an end, but we're looking back on what's been our favourite thing to grow this year. So, well, churches and schools and different centres up and down the land will be celebrating their harvest festivals. What I've put together today is something that I'm rather proud of calling a harvest festival. Because what I've done, I've got together with a few other creators who, you know, I'll put their names, you'll probably recognise them anyway, but I'll put their names and links to their channel on their footage and also down below. And I've asked them all to think about what's been their favourite thing to harvest this year. And I think a few of the results might surprise you. So yeah, take a look, see what you think. I'm going to save mine to the very end, but you can probably guess, if you've watched this channel for some time, you can probably guess what it is. A little bit left field, but I'm counting it because I'm in charge. Take a little look, see what you think, and I'll see you again at the end.
Thank you, Jane. Jane has very kindly asked if I would produce a clip for her channel explaining what my favourite harvest is and why. So thank you very much, Jane, for inviting me on. It's been very much appreciated. So let's go and have a look. So my favourite harvest could quite easily be these, my carrots at the minute. This is what I'm harvesting at the minute. And you could easily think that they're my favourite harvest, but they're not. And with harvests like this to go at, you could easily be thinking tomatoes are your favourite harvest, Steve, but it isn't. My favourite harvest at the minute is not an edible, and for a dedicated veg gardener that's surprising. It's these, my sweet peas, and these are my favourite flower hands down every time, and you'll get a harvest from them from June all the way through till September. They're looking a bit ropey now, but they just want clearing. All these want picking, all of these sorts of seed pods want taking off, good feed and a weed at the bottom, and they'll be good to go and carry on. I hope. They are coming to an end now. You can tell that by the height, but there's nothing better in my mind. I give a lot of these away, giving somebody a bunch, and you'll see them, they'll bring them up to their face, their eyes will close as they inhale deeply this sweet smell, followed by the greatest, biggest, widest smile you've ever seen in your life. One of the reasons why I grow them, because they bring such delight to everyone and a wonderful scent to our house, and they are fantastic and I love them. My favourite harvest of the time for those reasons.
Hi, Jane. Hey, you asked what I like to harvest. Usually it's what's ready to harvest is my favorite thing to harvest. But on the grand scheme, my favorite thing to harvest is a root crop, because you never know what you're going to get till you pull it. So I have some carrots that I think are ready. So let's go pull some out.
It's like hunting for treasure, isn't it? There's a beauty. Now, what I like to do with carrots is grow ones that are not easily found in the stores. So I grow a lot of colorful carrots, and I love seeing what comes out. Well, he's a little bit smaller, but that's okay. They're still going to taste really good, and they're beautiful carrots. Oops, there's a little dud. But doesn't matter, that's the fun of pulling up root crops, right? You get to see exactly what's been hiding under the ground for all these weeks. Now, I think that's a pretty good looking harvest.
Hi folks, and welcome to my allotment greenhouse, where you can see I have a lot of chili peppers. The greenhouse is mostly dedicated to growing chili peppers, which are by far and away my favourite plant to grow and harvest. And if I had to put it down to one main reason, one thing that made these plants so interesting to me, it is the sheer variety. There are thousands, and I'm not exaggerating, thousands and thousands of different pepper plants that have been kind of cultivated, and you have just so many different flavours, different colours, different shapes and sizes. The way the plants themselves grow, you know, you can get hanging basket chili peppers, or there's one back here that grows sort of just really tall, straight and tall. Lots of them grow out and bush out, and I just love them. They're a beautiful plant as well, beautiful delicate leaves, lovely flowers on some of the anums. So this is a Bangalore whippet's tail. These kind of have a traditional straight red chili pod. But back here we've got a bishop's crown, which has some really, really funky, cool looking pods and a lovely fresh citrus flavour. And then at the front of the greenhouse, we've got some of my super hots, which are terrifying, and they have much more complex, deep, rich flavours, but obviously will also blow your head off. And when I first started growing peppers, I wasn't into spicy food, you know. I've gotten into growing peppers because I think they're such cool plants, and as a result of that, I've had to use the pods, and I've since become a massive fan of spicy food, and especially hot sauce. So if you're thinking of giving chili peppers a go, it's worth it, even if you're not into super hot food, because it might just capture your imagination the same way it captured mine. And a great plant to start with is a jalapeno, but my top tip, let the plants ripen to fully red, you know, so get nice sweet red jalapenos, and they taste much nicer than the green ones.
Hello, I'm Rue from Rue's Life, and my most favourite thing to harvest is onions. I've been really successful with my onion harvests over the years. I grow them from sets, not seeds, and I overwinter them. One of the main reasons I love growing them so much is they're something that we use in our cooking in the kitchen pretty much every day. And I'm really proud to be able to say that we have become 100% self-sufficient in our onions. This is me harvesting over the last few years. I mean, look at that bountiful supply. I think that was about 3 years ago. This was last year. And again, a bountiful harvest. Look at those. Fabulous. And these are the onions I harvested this year. Look at that. That's a year's supply of onions. I plat some, and the rest we do actually chop and freeze. So my absolute favourite vegetable to harvest is onions.
Now, morning everyone. Jane asked us to do like a little clip on something I love in the garden, and I thought, let's get up at 5:45 in the morning and show you what it is. There, it's been here at 5:45 in the morning when there's no one here. But I'm going to give you a special one as well. I'm going to give you another reason why. So this has been primarily a vegetable garden, but this year I went all out on flowers, and it was partly because, just to give a little support for Ukraine, I planted, there was over 50 sunflowers at the very beginning, but we've got now round about 30 sunflowers left, and they're just starting to go over. But with all the colour, it's been fantastic. So if you can put colour in your garden next year, I really recommend it. Big thank you to Jane for letting us do this little clip.
Hi, I'm Saron from Sow, Grow and Cook. One of my favourite things to grow in the garden each year is sweet corn. Now, I know it's got a reputation for being a bit difficult to grow or requiring a lot of space, but actually those things are not strictly true. If you get the right varieties which grow well in a cooler climate, as we often have here in the UK, you can be quite successful in growing sweet corn. And remember, the growth, most of the growth is vertical and not horizontal. So an area of 3 foot by 4 foot would suffice for about 12 plants. And you grow them in a block, not in straight lines, because pollination will be better if they're planted in a block. I plant them in module trays at the end of April and in early May, depending on what the weather's doing. And once the danger of frost is past, I will put them in their final spots. I will water them. Just make sure that you plant them in a sunny spot and somewhere that's not too exposed to wind. And by September, you should have a nice crop of sweet corn.
Yum, yum, yum. Can't wait to boil this up and have it for my supper.
I grow the variety Early Bird, which is really successful here in wet West Wales. So give it a try.
Hello, so I'm Danny at the Grapevine Garden channel, and Jane Kelly has asked me to come on and discuss what was that one thing that I had fantastic harvest from this year, and I'd have to say beans. Wherever it was my classic one, the Armstrong runner beans that have been fantastic this year, or my Liberty beans, the Blauhilde, which are like a purple pod, sort of like a French bean, and then I also had my Pongo French beans, the Belotti beans, which will be fantastic to be used later on the season. You know, I don't harvest them fresh and steam and boil them. I let them go to the pods, and then I keep the pulses, and they dry out, and then I'll use them in stews and casseroles later on in the season. So the Belotti beans, they're like a reddish white marble kind of big bean, and they're fantastic that you later on, after you've stored them in jars and they've dried out, chuck them in a stew, chuck them in a casserole, and they're a fantastic source of food in those cold, wet months. I also grew a native Welsh runner bean called the Rhondda runner bean. They're a lot wider than the normal runner bean, and they've been fantastic as well. So it's nice to think that I've grown something Welsh on my plot this year. I also grew some French beans over this mesh frame this year. This is the last of the harvest now, and they've been fantastic as well. That's the great thing about beans, is that you can try so many different variations until you find the one you like. And for me, I'd say the classic French bean, the Blauhilde, and the Rhondda runner beans have been my favourites this year. They've just been fantastic. And I'm not being biased because, you know, the Rhonddas were Welsh, but I just found they were a lot nicer and sweeter. So thanks again, Jane, for inviting me onto your channel. And as I always say, take care, guys, and I shall see you all again soon.
So how about that, eh? What do you think? I think for me, what was so surprising when I put it together was we'd had no consultation between each other as to what different people were going to put. So I was definitely expecting tomatoes. I was definitely expecting potatoes. I wasn't expecting flowers. We got flowers twice. And to be honest, Tony, I wasn't expecting 5:45 in the morning to be thrown in there. But I can completely understand. It's something that you take and enjoy from your allotment. But yeah, what do you think? Do you agree? Do you disagree? I hope you're going to let me know in the comments below. But it will come as no surprise whatsoever that I am in a wire coop surrounded by feathery creatures, and I am about to do my favourite harvest. And my excuse, is it an excuse or is it a reason? My reason for this is that it might not be something that I've grown from a seed, but it certainly comes from something I care about and I nurture, and I absolutely love to bits for many, many reasons. And that is my chickens. I'm not harvesting a chicken. It's not that sort of show. But certainly harvesting my eggs. So let's just have a little look. First of all, we have got Mrs. Broody on here, so I am going to have to remove her. Hello, gorgeous. Oh, bless you. Are you coming to have a look, are you, Scratty? Come on, sweetheart. Come on. I'm going to have to lift her up very gently. She's been doing a great job of keeping these eggs warm. Ooh. Egg, as it seems to be today. Hello, sweetheart. Let's get your feathers down. There we are. Have you been doing a good job for me? Hey? So, this is one of the reasons I like harvesting the eggs, because it gives me a chance to have a little chat with old Mrs. Broody here. Also, it gets her off the nest, because otherwise she'd sit there all day and starve. So it gives her a little chance to cool down, run around with the others. So hello, you can see your friend. Okay, I'm going to pop her down and I'm going to harvest. This is the first time I've looked in there today, obviously. I've only just come up. A little bit disappointing for the video, but still, it's a harvest. An egg. There's usually, I've got to be honest, there's usually at least 3, but maybe I'm a bit early today, I don't know, but look at that. Look at that absolutely beautiful, beautiful creation. So that will very, very carefully get taken home and maybe eaten as a poached egg on toast for my dinner. So my favourite thing to harvest from my allotment are my eggs. Or egg. Hope you've enjoyed it. I bet you didn't guess that. Who guessed that? Put it in the comment below if you have. Do take a look. Thank you so much to all the channels who agreed to take part. It can be very difficult trying to keep something to under 2 minutes once you start talking. I mean, I know that more than anyone. So thank you so much for their efforts. Do go over and visit their channels. As I said before, I will put all the links below, and I will have put the links on the videos as they come up. So go and say hello, and yeah, enjoy your harvests wherever you are. And I'll see you again soon. Are you going to lay an egg now? Girls, where were the eggs? Where were the eggs?